Good evening. From my perspective here in Vietnam, following the news about the ongoing war in Ukraine often reveals the immense pressures and difficult choices that country is facing. It is now Sunday evening, April 13th, 2025, around 7:58 p.m. local time, and I have just read an international report discussing a significant proposal being floated by officials within Ukraine. The possibility of mandatory military service for everyone, including women. Let's explore what this report says and the complex issues it raises. The main focus is on a suggestion made by Mr. Pavlo Palisa, identified as the deputy head of the Office of the President of Ukraine. According to the report, Mr. Palisa proposed that all Ukrainian citizens, regardless of their gender, should perhaps be required to perform military service. He suggested drawing inspiration from Israel's model, where military service is a fundamental part of civic life. Crucially, Mr. Palisa apparently linked this proposed mandatory service directly to accessing state benefits, as the report quotes him explaining in an interview, if a citizen wants to apply for a job, study, or receive subsidies from the state budget, they must have served in the army. Suppose the minimum is just a one-year contract, it should still be done. He emphasized that both men and women should serve, arguing that modern militaries have many roles suitable for everyone. He also noted that mandatory service would provide basic military training, building up a reserve force for the future. His stance, as reported, was firm. Want to be a member of parliament, a leader, or work in the state budget sector? Go serve. Otherwise, it will be impossible. Thinking about this proposal from here in Vietnam, it sounds like a radical potential shift for Ukrainian society. Linking basic rights like access to state jobs or education benefits to prior military service is a very strong measure, especially making it apply to everyone, including women. The comparison to Israel is interesting. But Israel's system has developed over decades under very different historical circumstances. Would such a model be feasible or desirable in wartime Ukraine? The report points out this is not an entirely new idea in Ukraine. Late last year, a member of parliament named Mariana Bezuglaya also called for mandatory conscription for women. Her reasoning, as described in the report, focused more directly on Ukraine's severe shortage of soldiers. She argued that drafting women would ensure fairness. By reducing the burden solely on men, Ms. Bezuglaya suggested women could fill roles behind the front lines in offices, personnel units, or security, which would then allow more male soldiers to be sent to active combat duty or work in defense factories. She even suggested men might support the idea for this reason. This highlights two potential motivations behind the idea, as presented in the report. Mr. Palisa seems to focus on civic duty, universal training, and linking service to state privileges, while Ms. Bezuglaya focused on immediate military necessity personnel shortages and perceived fairness between genders in wartime burden. The report provides context. Currently, Ukraine drafts men over 25, while women can volunteer. Efforts to recruit more soldiers face challenges, including draft evasion. A recent draft law also changed rules about who gets deferred from service, specifically some students and teachers. The Army has grown massively since the full-scale invasion began in early 2022, after mobilization orders were issued. Critically thinking about these proposals, several questions arise. Could Ukraine realistically implement mandatory service for potentially millions of women during an ongoing war? What are the logistical challenges of training, equipping, and finding suitable roles for such a large influx? Ms. Bezuglaya suggests re-echelon roles, but would that free up enough men for the front lines as hoped? Furthermore, how might Ukrainian society react to such a profound change? Would there be widespread support, perhaps driven by patriotism or the fairness argument Ms. Bezuglaya mentioned? Or would there be significant opposition due to tradition, family responsibilities, or other concerns? The report doesn't detail public opinion, but it is a crucial factor. And the idea of linking service to state benefits, jobs, education, subsidies is particularly thought-provoking. Is it a fair way to ensure universal contribution to national defense during an existential crisis? Or could it be seen as coercive, potentially penalizing those unable or unwilling to serve for various reasons? Finishing this report on Sunday evening, it is clear that the long and brutal war is forcing Ukraine to consider very difficult, potentially society-altering measures. The proposals for mandatory female conscription, whether driven by personnel needs, ideas of fairness, or a desire for a new civic contract linked to state benefits, reflect the immense strain the country is under. While these are reported as proposals or discussions, not yet official policy, they highlight the profound questions Ukraine is grappling with about national service, gender roles, and individual rights versus collective duty in the face of aggression.